it's me and him, so 2 freshmen in high school, and then everybody else is like these white dudes that are over 40.
Okay.
In like an attic, like.
Okay. Doesn't sound creepy at all.
Like it's fine.
Hey y'all, today I am here with Havanna Mahoney.
Hello, it's me.
She brought...
Pokemon Master Trainer, the board game!
And gaming in general helped you make a big transition.
Absolutely, yeah. Gaming's been a big part of my life for a long time, and I owe it so much.
So let's go to the table. Let's chat about it.
Let's do it.
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was.
Hey, James.
Now, do people normally call you Havanna, or is it Vana?
I get all sorts of stuff. You can call me Vana, you can call me Vana. Most people on the internet call me Vana.
You got the Vanguard.
Right, the Vanguard, my community, yeah.
Your community. What community do you speak of?
What are you talking
What are you
about?
talking about right now?
My Twitch community. On my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Vana.
So what do you do on your stream?
Well, we do a lot of chatting, we do a lot of conversing. Kind of my main things about my channel are connecting with the viewers, building like a positive, supportive, inclusive community, and then of course we play games. And I'm not super good at games. I don't have like MLG strats, so it's like mostly me making jokes about the game and how bad I am at the game, and us like memeing together as a community, and yeah.
There was a lot of memeing, yeah.
So many memes.
It's fun to watch, and I hung out in your stream yesterday a little bit.
Yeah,
It
thank
was
you for
like
doing that.
watching. I just like see the different interactions that people have, right? Like each stream has its own kind of personality,
Absolutely,
which I think that's
yeah.
what's really unique about streamers, as the kids are called. Like it's a profession now. You get to like put that on your occupation.
I usually say content creator, but
Yeah.
sounds a little bit more nuanced because it is. But
Yeah. But really, you're just a streamer. It's fine.
you
It's fine.
shut the front door, get out, and
But it
then
was-
shut the door. Yeah.
It kind of gave me a vibe of, say, like chat rooms back in the day, but with a moderator
Less
who's
ASL.
yeah, way less ASL, but more like a guided chat room by whoever's leading.
Right,
the
and
chat.
I think that's what I always kind of try to preach is that if you're streaming, if you're creating content, you have a platform, and so you have a responsibility, if you choose to accept it, to like use that for good and like influence people to be better people, and to correct problematic things, and to accept criticism when you're being problematic, and things like that. Like I encourage everybody who has any, like even if you have 5 followers, like, or 5 viewers per stream, there's still 5 people that are taking notes on your behavior and the commentary you're making on the world and yourself and each other, and why bring other people down when you can help them feel seen and welcome and heard, and help them be like a stronger person and a better person while doing that for yourself,
I believe the saying is a rising tide raises all ships.
A rising tide raises all ships.
Roll
Yep.
Tide.
Roll Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
That's right. Now, one of the things I noticed that we talked about previously is that you've actually started playing some board games with your stream.
Yeah.
And you have a meetup at Gen Con and things like that.
Yeah.
So
This is our 3rd year having a community meetup at Gen Con, and it gets crazier every year. So
yeah.
It's crazy.
How do you feel like the difference between, say, like streaming a video game and talking about it versus having a tactile, physical representation of playing a game on stream? What are the 2 big differences there?
So when I play a lot of video games, most of them are single player. Like sometimes I can play some multiplayers with my like mods or my community, or it's like Mario Kart or something like that, and we can all get in. But I think like we use Tabletop Simulator to play board games together, and we've done like an all-day stream before. We just there was like a sign-up sheet, and I put up games, and then people could be like, oh, I want to play this, and it was just like you spend longer with each other. There's more intimacy because it's like you're thinking through problems together, and you're kind of, in some situations you're pitted against each other, and that starts like a friendly rivalry, but it's more nuanced and more has more depth than maybe just like a session of Mario Kart does. Like it's more involved, and I feel like there's more communication and more connection over a board game than a lot of video games can offer. Not that that can't happen, but
No, I heard it here first, man. It says board games give you a deeper connection than video games. Sell all your video games.
Well, sell them to me for $3.
$3.00.
Please send them to my P.O. box.
But obviously we've got this beautiful Pokemon
Oh my gosh.
Master Trainer in front of us, but your nerddom started even before this, yeah?
Right, yeah. So growing up, my parents owned a video game store. So it was like from very early on, it was, I would say stuff like, oh, if someone would be like, oh, I went to your parents' store, I bought a game. And I was like, you bought me soup. You know, like I was like, no, that's like literally video games support my being, my life, and my family having home and food. So it was just like intimate connection with video games from the get-go. So. But but a lot of that was hanging out in the store, playing whatever I wanted, or we could bring whatever home, and you know, it made the boys think I was cool. So.
And you,
grade school.
We do this at home all the time because we watch a lot of Into the Spider-Verse. It's like,
yeah.
But I heard maybe a little D&D in a comic shop was a thing that happened.
Yes, so video games was sort of a thing, and then when I got to like freshman year of high school, I met a fellow classmate who was like, I play D&D at this comic book shop every week. You should come join us. Didn't really get any other details than that. Show up, it's me and him, so 2 freshmen in high school, and then everybody else is like these white dudes that are over 40.
Okay.
In like an attic, like
Doesn't sound creepy at all.
Like it's fine. Just a bunch of sweaty white guys with a couple of kids playing some 3rd edition Dungeons and Dragons.
It's good.
Nothing weird happened. It was a treat. It was a delight. But
this is fun.
when I talk about it, it sounds bad.
Sounds fine.
But it was super fun. I think I started out playing spellcasters and really fell in love with that. And it was cool to just get to do some escapism, because as we all know, high school is bullshit.
What?
Absolute bullshit, especially in Kansas. Just nothing to do. So I didn't drink or have the sex. So I just played D&D with
There you go.
older white guys. It's a treat.
There's probably a joke there. Probably
Don't make it.
None are appropriate.
You shut it down.
Shut it down. Well, so that's interesting to see. Like, and I know it kind of leads into this, right? Like the video game store, the comic book store, D&D, all kind of culminates into early gaming for you, right?
Yeah, I think I call this sort of like my gateway drug.
Yeah.
They can't understand me, kid.
It's me. It's that stuff that I put up my nose.
My gateway drug into like tabletop RPGs, because it was like gaming and we were playing board games, but just like the usual stuff like Sorry or Monopoly or something, which are like, they're fine, but you know, they're pretty general.
Yep.
And this was the first one where it's like, you've got some of those mechanics where you're rolling and you're moving, but then we've got these dice, and when you roll the dice, they can be used as movement, or they could be used as battle mechanics, or they can be used as a way to catch Pokemon. And it's like it's so much is up to chance, and it, you know, there's skill and strategy that goes into it, but then there's this whole other part that is like, will you catch the Pokemon? Let's roll. Let's roll to find out. You know, will you win the battle? Like, let's roll to find out. And that was sort of my gateway. And then like the use of items and special events, and sort of building a narrative out of what happens on here and the journey you go through all these cities like you do. And I was already playing the card game and watching the show and playing the Game Boy game. So it was like to go on that narrative journey in such a tangible way.
It's funny because when you said you wanted to feature this particular game, I was like, cool, I have that game.
Yeah.
I play this with Parker.
Yeah.
I haven't actually played it probably like a year.
Yeah.
But it has that exact effect where you feel like you're getting a chance to really venture out into the world and build your team of Pokemon. And for him, he's like, as soon as he played it, it was, can we play again? I was like, dude, that was like 2 hours. So
that was me too.
We're gonna need a minute. But yeah, it gives you that very fulfilling, and I can see what you're saying. Like, it gives you a little bit of the gateway drug to a TT RPG situation.
Yeah, it was the first time where I felt like the dice were working in that way.
Hey y'all, before we keep going, a game that Parker and I really love that's very similar to Pokemon Master Trainer that you can still get today is Castle Panic. If you all can take a second and click the link below, check out the game. It will really help the show. So you got your Kansas roots. How did you end up in LA? Doing LA things.
Well, I have a background in comedy too, so I was doing. Like, I think I've done comedy for like over a decade now with
Okay.
improv, sketch, and stand-up. And I sort of just like peaked in my field in Kansas and sort of, I did want new challenges. And
Sure.
I just grew up there. So it was like, after 25 years, you know,
I'm gonna bounce for a minute.
something different.
So you threw
something
the
opposite of that.
Right? So you threw the dogs in the car and just
I did not throw them.
You gently placed your animal friends.
I let them jump gingerly into the back seat. Yes. Yeah. I got rid of and sold most of my possessions and put the rest in my little car and my dogs and drove out here. Didn't have a job. Didn't have a place to live. Didn't really know anybody.
But you just drove out here and we're gonna wing it.
Gonna wing it, and it worked out weirdly enough.
Now, how long ago was that?
That was 3 years ago this month.
Okay,
Yeah, so-
3-year anniversary.
Yep. Are you
Welcome.
gonna wish me happy anniversary? Or?
We're gonna have a cake. Now, I think when we were chatting earlier, you said one of the things that happened when you first got here was you responded to an ad.
The thing about moving out here without anything in place is that you kind of go into panic mode when
Okay.
you are out here. So I was I was like living out of an Airbnb and responding to absolutely everything on the internet that had to do with jobs, that had to do with like gaming or hosting or even like acting opportunities or things like that. Just like anything where someone was like, you can live here and or I will give you at least $1. Like
Okay.
or maybe it will lead to other dollars at some point. I was like everything. I was all over
Just yes
Facebook,
to-
every single page, and I was like, what's up? How's it going?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm so scared.
Please pay me.
And so I was responding to everything. And one of the things I responded to before I had moved out there was Saving Throw Show. Dom Zook, who's the producer over there, put on one of those Facebook pages and was like, hey, we're looking for female talent who has experience with tabletop RPGs and streaming. And I was like, it me. I got the boobies. I got the tabletop experience. I stream already, like, got it. And I responded to that, and they never got back to me.
Oh.
They never got back to me.
Dom.
It
Bad
wasn't Dom. It was Tyler Rhodes. Blame him.
Bad Tyler Rhodes.
Wow. But it was one of those things that kind of stuck in the back of my head because it seemed like such a perfect
Sure.
melding of
Niche
everything I
thing
wanted
that
to
you
do.
were- yeah.
So after I was out here and panicking about all those things, I went ahead and responded again, just to be like, hey, remember when I did this and you never responded? And then Dom was the one to respond. He was like, hey, yeah, come in for like a test episode of this week's like 5th edition game. And I was like, dope. So I didn't have a place to live yet. But when I was first in that studio
Yeah.
doing that show with them, and the test episode I guess went very well because I was on that show every Wednesday for like 2.5 years.
Nice.
So yeah, so it really worked out. So it was just kind of magical to be freaking out about so much and be in such a strange place with no real like connections or
Framework, support
yeah,
system.
nothing. Just like my really cute dogs.
Really cute dogs.
And to have like tabletop RPGs like save my ass, you know what I mean?
Right.
Just like give me a core friend group. Like I'm so close with all those people. We go to Gen Con every year. Like I'm still doing content over at Saving Throw Show all the time. Like I love supporting them, and on top of that, like doing that show linked me to other people who were like at Geek and Sundry and Hyper RPG and places. So it was like being a part of that got me other work down the line and helped me meet even more people, expand my social circle. I have board games and tabletop to thank for like everything, you know?
What is the future for a streamer? What are you like? What are things that you're trying
I'm a content creator.
as a content creator who uses streaming?
Thanks to you, I now think streamer's like a derogatory term. Like you did that.
No, you're doing that.
You did it.
I get blamed for a lot.
Well, that's one of the great things about moving out to LA is that there's so many more opportunities now where it's like I can stream on Twitch, but I can also host and play RPGs at Geek and Sundry. I can play RPGs at Saving Throw Show. Like I can do guest spots at Hyper.
Sure.
Like I can come on here and do this with y'all. Like it just seems limitless to me, you know, and it's LA, the whole thing, you know, it's just like the more connections you make, the more opportunities come up because the more people realize you're fitted for something. Everything that's happened so far has been absolutely Shocking.
Here
None
we
of
are.
it has been planned. None of it has been planned. It has simply come from being my attempts, at least, to be genuine, to connect, and with people in all these communities, in the board game community, tabletop community, Twitch community, and beyond.
Why do you feel like board games are so different and special that make those connections?
I do think it's like the analog nature of it, and how it's just been like humans have been playing board games for so long, and I like cheesily I feel like that's kind of a part like ingrained in us, where it's like to disconnect from whatever's going on in our lives, whatever struggles we're dealing with, and connect with a game, a strategy, a different world than we normally are, has just been going on for so long. And I still feel like there's some part of our brain that is sparked by the nature of that analog gameplay. Sure. That I love video games, and they do all sorts of things for me.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, but there's something special about board games and tabletop RPGs and the analog nature of it. Like, I have so many friends on the internet, and playing games with them online is still a connection for me. But when we meet up at Gen Con and I get to see them in person, and we're playing Magic the Gathering, or we're playing board games like in person, it's like I want to cry thinking about it, because it's just like, it's so special.
Right.
Just because of that in-person intimate connection, and we're not, especially in like 2019 where everything's like screens and everyone's very distracted all the time, to put that shit on this, like, on the back burner.
Yep.
And just hone in on each other and what you're saying and what you're doing, and in the game and in person, like, just interpersonally. That doesn't happen very much.
No,
anymore.
we suck at that now.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
When's the last time you just like went to a park and stared at a tree?
Not very often.
Yeah.
It's not a thing.
Yeah.
Yours is a little bit different story to say than just specifically board games. It's like gaming in general.
Right,
But it really
yeah.
facilitated this next step for you, right? How would you like package that all together for us?
I took a really big leap, leaving my home that I lived for 25 years and coming out here with like no groundwork established. And it was just, it's still crazy to me that it's just like, before I had a place to live, I was doing gaming, tabletop stuff at Saving Thirst Show. It's given so much to me, and I know I wouldn't be where I am, and I wouldn't have the level of success or the established career that I do without it.
Havanna, if people want to follow your journey, all the things, where can they follow you on the social medias?
You can find me on Twitch 5 days a week, twitch.tv/Vana, V-A-N-A. I also just got Vana.tv, so if that's easier, you can check it out there. You can find me on Twitter, where I post about going live on Twitch when I'm doing stuff like this, Geek and Sundry, Saving Thirst Show, role play. I post all the details, the puppy pics on the Twitters and Instagram. Handles for both of those are havanarama, Havanarama. And
You want to give this a go?
yeah, okay.
All right, starting Pokemon. Who do you want to be?
Don't hand me one.
Yeah, I'm gonna hand
That's
you one.
cursed. No.
Okay, you don't want that one. You want
Is it meow? Don't.